Welcome to episode 150 of the Inside Byte. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey Tim, I'm good. Sorry I missed last week, but I'm back. All is good with the world. So I didn't get a chance to listen to the episode yet, but I want to check it out, see how it went for you guys.
What it turned into was more than half of the episode was talking about AI and gaming, only because there was something new that dropped with Microsoft trying to implement that Copilot AI into gaming. And I don't know. I mean, we've heard of AI assistants in games for a long time, but this looks like it's like right around the corner, and they're about to implement it in like 2 or 3 games here real soon. An obvious being like Minecraft of just like, hey, how do I build this? You just ask it and then it'll tell you what you need kind of thing. But the point in the assistant is just more like you're stuck in a game or information on something specific, anything like that.
Right.
And then that way it will just kind of like tell you what's up in that particular moment. So I think that's
pretty cool.
A good way of handling AI, because I don't want I don't know, AIR assets and all of that, but assistant stuff, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it all depends on how we use it, Could be super useful. Honestly, these days, especially with all the updates they've made to it, I use ChatGPT like I used to use Google. Like I rarely go to Google now. I use it so much more because I just feel like I get way more detailed and clear answers as to what I'm looking for. And it's getting so smart that you can even say, no, I didn't mean this. Refine it to this. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Definitely a good thing.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
don't use it that much. Actually, I'm quite the hater. But again, purely just a tool, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, at first, I almost felt forced, like, hey, I could just Google this. But then once I learned how to use it kind of like the right way, then I started getting some real good use out of it, And apparently, like the premium version has some crazy stuff on it, but I haven't tried it yet. Maybe I'll try it for a month or something and see.
On the last episode, Asa was asking me, okay, well, what about if it helped you with your AI with video editing? I was like, well, it just depends in what way, right? If it's just, let's say I have something low res and I upscale it using AI, I wouldn't care about that. But then he was like, all right, what about like if it were to sort of actually edit it for you, like decide what should be cut and what not? That I wouldn't want. Because every person's going to have their own very distinct, like individual thoughts on like, what they like or not when it comes to just, I don't know, how they want something presented. So AI doesn't really, yes, it helps if you don't want to do that, but that isn't where I want AI to help me. I want to have creative freedoms in any work that I do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But anyway, so that's pretty much the scope of what we were talking about last week.
Okay, very cool. I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah.
All right. I figured we were looking for something to start with. It's been a while since we did the old spinner wheel. So basically, I have a ton of genres here. I even have some situational things like, let me just make one up that's not on here. I don't know. The game that made you break your controller or something, Okay, could be anything. Yeah, so let's do one or two each and let's see how it goes. All right, ready?
Well, hold on before we start. I like that. What's a game you can think of that you rage like more than ever, like the top rager game?
This is a tough one. Let me think. Okay, so even though I love Dark Souls 1, that game certainly made me very, very angry because it was sort of my introduction to those games. And I remember this one point in particular where you have to run up this really narrow path. And there's these huge, like knights who shoot these gigantic arrows at you. They're bigger than your whole body. And they can hit you once, even if you block it, and knock you off to your death. And I was on the phone with my buddy who had beaten the game already. And I got to the top, like past the guys. And he's like, you did it on your first try? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh my God. He's like, you're so lucky. He's like, just go in and save at the bonfire. I'm like, no, I want to get this chest. So I went back and grabbed the chest. After that, I was there for hours. And I was so angry. I was starting to feel like I'm not ready for this game. I can't. I don't know why I started this game. I don't know why I'm playing these games. And I got so angry. But of course, that all changed when I eventually beat the game. But man, that was definitely one of the angriest I think I've ever gotten.
So I never went back and played the first Dark Souls. I played and beat Demon Souls because of the remake, but I never actually. I need to play that Dark Souls remake.
You should, man. It's really, really good game, and it's probably one of the best in terms of being sort of like interconnected. You can get to any spot in the map within I don't know, a few minutes. It's really, really good.
Okay.
So
I mean, I know 3 does that, but it's not as short. You know, like it's all connected, but in a larger scale, and it still takes a while to get from like one point to another. But you're saying with 1, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and you can pretty much get literally anywhere at any point.
In 1, you can get here. I want to show you a picture of this. Hold on. Let me see. Dark Souls 1 map. It's pretty crazy how well it designed. And remember, this came out in what, 2011, what would it be? I think. Hold on. Let's see. Dark Souls 1 release date. Yeah, September 22nd, 2011, right?
Okay.
So you got to take into account how early on this was before they really started getting very good at making these open world maps so connected and everything. But I'm going to send you a pic of it right now. Hold on.
I accidentally pressed the virtual computer thing.
Okay.
And before I could get out of it, I was trying to get out of it, but then
it's fine. Listen, I'm just glad it's not somebody else. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You're good.
I accidentally went to.
It doesn't do it justice really to show how quickly you can get to everything, because a lot of this stuff is not really far walked. For example, if you look all the way at the bottom from Ash Lake and Blight Town and all that, it's not really far. But Firelink Shrine is the central area, right in the middle there. And you can get to any of these places relatively quickly. It's very, very quick traversal. Like the catacombs right there, or that painted world at the top left, that's like a teleport. That's the alpha. There's no map or anything. Yeah, it's really awesome, man. You go off to the Undead Burg over here to the right first, and then you kind of do like a big circle sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to do it in that order, but yeah, that's the general layout.
The Abyss.
Yeah, there's some cool areas in this game.
Okay.
But all right, now that we know that Dark Souls made me rage, let's get one. Let's get one for you here. Ready? I'm gonna spin it right now. Forgot about the sound.
I mean, I'm not gonna hear the sound, so.
Oh yeah. I spun the wheel and I got rage quit, which I know we were already doing that, but I guess it makes sense for you to go now. If you have one.
all right. So you got the same thing.
How did that read our mind? God, that's so weird.
That's wild. Yeah, I didn't even know that was one of the options.
Yeah.
The best I could come up with was Kingdom Hearts, only because when you're like at like a major boss,
right,
and let's say you die, you have to sit there and watch the whole fucking cutscene over again.
God.
And so after like the 25th time of watching that cutscene, yeah, you're gonna rage pretty hard.
That's a fair one. I haven't even played all the Kingdom Hearts games, but when I played the first one, I remember when I fought Sephiroth, I had to fight him so many times. I was getting so angry.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah. He really is like incredibly hard, actually. Funny enough.
Yeah. All right. Here we go again.
I'd say he's harder in Kingdom Hearts than he is in Rebirth. Just saying.
Sorry, that was so loud. I couldn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
I was saying he was harder in Kingdom Hearts than he was in anything else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, agreed. Actually, I found him to be such a pain in Rebirth, that last fight. I guess it was only me. A lot of people said, oh, no, it wasn't that hard. For me, I had so much trouble with that last fight. I mean, I eventually beat him, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I died like 4 times. It wasn't anything too crazy.
It was the final fight, you know. All the other ones, no problem. But that last one, when he'd do like the whole spinning tornado all around, and then he does the octo slash 2 times. I'm like, what the heck? How am I supposed to survive?
Well, he always would just, because there's both of you up there, so he always just killed the other, and then I would just revive him.
He'd like loop me in both. We would both get hit no matter where we were, which was really weird. But the only reason I got him is because I was able to stagger him almost like right before he did that. But
anytime he did it, he never got me in it.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Weird.
All right. Anyway, the genre that popped up is stealth action. So to me, like the obvious answer is like a Metal Gear game or something. That's what I think of first. I guess if that qualifies.
I mean, what? Yeah. What's your favorite stealth action? I mean, Metal Gear,
gotta,
obviously, and then other
Metal
than
Gear,
that, like Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory. Like, the first I didn't like Pandora's Tomorrow. It's kind of whatever. But I like the first Splinter Cell. I like the third, which is Chaos Theory. I love Double Agent. That was like when 360 just came out.
I haven't played so many Splinter Cells. I feel like I need to go back, but I feel like I wish they would redo them or
there still isn't a game like it, which is really weird to the sense of it's not that hard of a mechanic, but no one really does it to where you have to sit there and like shoot out the lights, and the light darkness definitely affect if people see you or not. Like you would think so many more games would use that, and they really don't. Can't really think of many games where I'm like, okay, I'm walking into a environment and I gotta be like, all right, I gotta take this light out so I can get past this guy. Sure. Why is this not a thing? They've been doing this since like the OG Splinter Cell.
Yeah, I guess the only other game, if it counts, is maybe like the Hitman games. Maybe that to an extent, because you are doing,
but they don't really
actions.
They don't lean into the light darkness as much, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right,
but anyway,
let's do one more. All right, we got worst game ever. All right, I'm trying to let's do a qualifier here. Only a game you've actually played. It can't be a game that you've just heard terrible things about. All right, let me think here. Excuse me.
Because yes, obviously there's gonna be like games that actually are deserving of like a 1, but this is more has to be like, okay, a game that we actually would play, because it could be something actually so broken it won't even run, and that's a different story. But
yep, I'm looking at the worst games online just to see if I've played any of them, but I really have not played any of these. Ninja Bread Man, what the heck is that? Let's see. Rogue Warrior, Team, Power Gig, Postal.
It's the Sonic 2006, but I actually never played that.
I saw that pop up. Ride to Hell Retribution. The SimCity in 2013 was bad. I think I do remember that coverage. That was pretty bad. Assassin's Creed Unity.
Grey's Anatomy game.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Yeah. I never played 5, but it looked pretty bad.
Oh, Cyberpunk is on here? No, they need to update this. Come on. Balan Wonderworld. I've heard terrible things about that one.
I never played this, but I'm assuming this is terrible. Street Fighter the movie.
Oh, I haven't played that one.
But it looks like Mortal Kombat.
Wait. It looks like Mortal Kombat. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Babylon's Fall.
So weird.
We all heard that was a terrible one.
Yeah. There's a Dragon Ball Evolution game? Dear God.
I'm really trying to look here and see if there's something. You know what? Okay, here's one I could think of randomly.
I'm trying to think.
And it really makes me sad that this is a Nintendo game, but there was a Pikmin game that had come out, but it was that Hey Pikmin one, and I remember playing it.
And I remember thinking it was the 3DS one, where it's like a platformer or something.
Yeah, I played the whole thing, and by the time I finished, I was like, "Wow!"
I played the demo, and it was
I did
trash,
not.
so I didn't
It
even
was
get it.
not a good game.
You beat it?
I did. I
Ooh,
saw it all the
man.
way through. Couldn't believe myself.
Have you even played a
Uh,
Pikmin normal game?
yeah, I've played all of them. Yeah,
Okay,
except
okay.
except the most
Well,
recent one.
4, which you need
Yeah.
to.
Oh,
4
I
is great.
love Pikmin. That's what kept it was almost like I kept saying, like, okay, this is Pikmin. Like, it's pretty good. Look how cute the little Pikmin are. And then by the time I got to the end, I'm like, oh my god, this game. It
Oh, I know
sucks.
one. I mean, I did play Superman 64, and that
Oh,
was
there we
really
go.
terrible. Like,
There we
that
go.
lives up to the hype of terribleness. It really is awful. Because it's so dumb. Like, I can't get past the first section, and everyone knows you just, like, fly through the rings, and it's just like a little tutorial thing before you even start playing the game. And you can't even finish it. It's just so impossibly hard just to even fly through some stupid rings. And you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah. If a game
Yep.
makes you quit on the tutorial, it's pretty bad.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really think of much more except that I really hated Anthem. I don't know how bad it actually was. I remember I played it for a few hours and I absolutely despised it. I thought it was pretty bad, but yeah, I don't know if it's on
I
the same
mean,
level
like,
as.
it controlled good and, like, or whatever. Like, the gameplay felt fine. It just, yeah, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, and it got real old and boring really fast. And outside of just how it felt and the controls of, like, the fly and the shooting,
Right.
I can't think of anything else. Like, I guess it
Yeah.
looked good for its time, but I don't know. I was so lost, but not in the sense of like, ooh, I wonder what's around the bend, and I'm like curious. I'm just like lost, but this is crappy, and I'm lost. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
All right. I think we can stop there. We did a few there. So
All right. Well, it was 2 weeks ago, I feel. We had news of like, oh, they're going to do like a showcase of a game after the Xbox event, right? But we didn't know what the game was. Well, now we do. It is Black Ops 6. So, what's weird is I guess they did Black Ops 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I guess Cold War counts as 5 because they're calling this Black Ops 6.
yeah. So I was confused by that. How
Yeah.
many actual Black Ops are there that say in the title? Black Ops 1, 2, 3. I know
Well, it
there's three.
says Black Ops. Hold on. I'm frozen again.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Okay. Anyway, so the game the game will be revealed in full during a presentation on Saturday, June 9th, immediately following the Xbox showcase that will start at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. But yes, it is Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and I was thinking it looked like Call of Duty, so I guess I was right there. But this is apparently there's a lot of rumors of like apparently there was a lot of internal talks on whether they were going to include Call of Duty on Game Pass or not, kind of thing. And my whole thoughts on all that, I don't want to go on it too much, but if you're agreeing to buying the company, you definitely would be figuring that out way before you would even agree to start trying to spend that amount of money to get it. So if it is true that they were still debating it once they acquired it, that's the problem is I just find that too hard to believe. Are they that dumb? Because that's how many billion? It was ridiculous. It was like 58.
No, it was like 69 billion.
Is insane number.
Ridiculous.
You would definitely know that before going into it, right? It's I'm just thinking like, man, that cannot be true. Now, maybe somebody just like heard somebody internal like discussing it. Hey, should we really actually do this or something? And it was kind of like not really that serious discussion. I could see something like that of just a random person maybe saying something and then somebody hearing that random person and then maybe spreading it. But any seriousness behind this, there were like debates actually going on after the fact. If that's true, then they got some huge problems there. So that's so hard to believe. But
I feel like it's like a reoccurring theme on this show and other podcasts. It's like just incompetent people who are in charge of so much important stuff. Oh,
I don't
man.
know. I don't. I'm gonna say I don't believe it, and if it is, it's probably something small that somebody is blowing out of proportion or something. That's
Yeah,
the way I
could
see
be.
it, but who knows?
Yeah,
But look, I will say this though, you the whole shtick of this whole thing, this whole operation, the only reason it works is if it's because it's going to Game Pass day one of anything first party. You have to put it day one Game Pass when you release, and I think they're going to. I don't think that's not a thing. I'm sure whenever they acquire them and they're trying to figure out all like, okay, how exactly are we going to handle all of these previous games with Game Pass and what do we do and blah blah blah. Like, I get that it takes some time to figure it out. Or does it? You know, do you just dump everything on there? I don't know. But what I do know is when the next Call of Duty comes out, it has to be on there because let's say it does, all right? Let's say it drops on there. You're gonna have, I mean, Call of Duty sells how many copies?
oh my God.
Like
I
each
mean,
release. I mean, let's try to get an
take a look at the
actual
most
number
recent.
here. Yeah. Modern Warfare 3. 3 total sales. Within 24 hours, the game sold 6.5 million copies.
Crazy.
What's it at currently? I mean, I'm gonna assume. I mean, it's one of the top sold games ever, right? It's up there with like GTA and all that crap. So I'm gonna assume like 80 million, because like the top Nintendo game is at like 50, 60 million.
Oh my God, the Nintendo games go so crazy, man.
And Call of Duty has to be a little higher than Nintendo, right? I don't know. I'm gonna assume 80 million. That's my assumption. I wonder. Wish I could find. I mean, we can see like top tens, and it's always still in there.
Of course.
But I just don't know its numbers. I mean, does 80 million sound like it would be the case?
I want to say it sounds a little high, but I could be totally wrong because those games are so crazy with their sales. Let's see.
I just can't seem to find any solid number here.
I saw the 6.5 in 24 hours, right? And then
Yeah, that's the only thing I see.
second best selling game 2023.
I'm just gonna search on this like VG chart.
Well,
Search Call of Duty.
I did see Modern Warfare 3 sales were down almost 38% in UK compared to MW2 for the first 3 weeks on sale.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
I mean, that doesn't
80
really
million
tell
to
me
100 million?
right. Oh, this one is more recent. Oh, never mind. Yeah, can't find. Okay. Well, no matter what, even a bad Call of Duty will still sell well. So.
Well, let's see here. Modern Warfare. Here we go. This should tell us. VG chart. Sales. Sales history currently under construction. All right, never mind then. Jesus Christ. All right, whatever. Anyway, long story short, if the game, let's say the game sold 50 million copies, okay? What percentage of that would just be like, instead of buying it, I'll just keep Game Pass, play it for a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, and then drop it, right? Because the game being $70, you spend $10 if you just want it on one platform. You spend like 16 if you want it across all platforms. So let's just say most people drop in the 10, and you know, they play a few months. That's 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't know. I see a lot of people subbing and trying it out, right? And if they like it, play a few months, and then maybe they get stuck with this script, whatever. Regardless, though, in terms of the numbers, Microsoft, I'm assuming, would get at least 15 million to sub. If a game is selling, I mean, I would think even more, but I'm trying to be real conservative here, because they're at like 30 right now. Only because they got rid of Xbox, the gold stuff, and then they just kind of merged it into Game Pass, and now that's all they have. So the number's out like 30 right now. You gain an extra 15, 20, and now all of a sudden you probably are making it worth it for you to have this service. If you got 50 million subs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. They seem to be putting a lot of their eggs in the basket of Game Pass, right? And
that's like the whole point of all of this, including buying Activision, I feel. They said it multiple times, as Game Pass was the play. So,
and we could have, we won't get into it now, it's a long discussion, but could have a discussion about how they're managing everything, which some would say probably not that great. Like, they have this awesome service, but then they're not managing their studios really the best way. That whole I don't even play Hi-Fi Rush, and that whole thing really made me upset, because I'm like, this studio is amazing. They did everything right, and here they're shut down now. So
yeah, I think that was just more of the guy leaving, and the whole point. Like, it's like Kojima leaving, but staying as Kojima Productions. Maybe that not that insane, but the creator of Resident Evil is a huge name.
Sure, but they still make good games.
And him leaving, well, no, I mean, he left after Hi-Fi Rush. That was like,
sorry.
Hi-Fi Rush releases, and then he leaves.
Yeah, but didn't he switch from...
He wasn't like the creative director of that game. Like, he still helped. He was still there. Sure. He wasn't like the main guy creating, that game, sure.
I just remember that when Evil Within's came out, he wasn't really doing what he would do when it was before that,
but even the one after that, though, the Tokyo whatever.
Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo.
That was his baby, though.
Yeah,
and then that came out. It didn't like do super hot. I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but it was like 7, 8, somewhere in there. But but that was the last thing that like he did. And then Hi-Fi Rush came out after that, which and then he leaves. But what I'm getting at is like, I don't know. I don't think that studio would stay anyway, with him gone. But that's besides the point. You still had a studio in Japan. You still canceled it, which is stupid. Because it's the only internal Japanese studio that you have. Why wouldn't you keep it? Anyway, it's dumb. Yeah. It was dumb. But I think it's gonna hit Game Pass. I think the numbers are gonna rise about 15 million. And it go to from like 30 to like 45 is that's my best guess. And then they're pretty much probably going to be like, okay, well, they'll probably try to squeak another $1 or $2 raise out of it. Because it's right now, it was 15. They recently raised it to 16. They're probably going to raise another $1 or $2 and make it like 18 when this comes out, something like that. Try to justify as like, well, to allow games like this, we need to raise it even more. And at like $18-19 a month, do people pay that much for a game sub? Again, I guess it just depends on the person. I'm not like a Call of Duty person, so that's not why I would sub to it. But it makes me wonder if somebody does play Call of Duty each year, most people play a few months and drop if they don't have to actually pay the full price, play the campaign, play some of the multiplayer and drop, especially if they just play the campaign and drop.
Right, if they play the campaign only, especially, that would make sense.
But I see a lot of subs by default because of this, and then does this keep them afloat of like, okay, well now let's say 50 million is now the average of like expected of them. Is that enough money for Microsoft to just keep Game Pass its main priority and 50 million subs being what's okay with it? It makes me want to sit here and do, because again, we don't have much after this, so the show will end here pretty soon. I want to do some calculations on, let's just think like, okay, Sony last year, what did they release in terms of like within the last year, not like this, you know what I mean? Since like, let's say 2023 to where we're at in 2024.
Okay.
What are we looking at here?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me tell you right now. Okay. So in 2023, Spider-Man 2.
Okay, so Spider-Man 2, you know, it didn't sell as much as the first. Yes, we know that. But how many sales we think we're going to get out of this?
Man, I know they sold
20 million?
Right? That's what I would guess, something like that.
I'm going to guess 20 million. That sounds right. So okay. let's do 20 million and times that by, let's just 70? Times that by 60. Because I would do 70, but let's say a lot of people bought it. Did it ever even go on sale? Maybe not. Let's just do 70. Let's do 20 million and 70. That sounds good. So okay. That's a lot. That's 1.4. Yes. Now, how much did they spend on the game? They probably spent 400 million on it. So let's just put it at a salt.
Wait, we saw the fact on this. I think it was like
200 to 300 million. I just don't know the number.
How much did it cost to Spider-Man 2? Let's see. 300 million. Yep.
Okay, so minus 300 million.
Triple the game's first budget. The first game's budget, excuse me.
So we're at 1 billion, 1.1 billion. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Also, they had. Are we just doing exclusive games?
Just whatever we think, like in terms of what Sony's releasing and what's being sold. No, it would need. I mean, they get a cut from all of that, but that's gonna be way too hard to think of every game.
Okay.
So let's just stick first party.
Okay. How about Final Fantasy 16 was
exclusive. That would work.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
And I know 16 didn't sell as well. As we'd like. I don't know,
but that was an exclusive deal they made. They would get a huge cut of that. So,
right. Okay. Let's keep going. Stellar Blade, another one similar. That's this year.
How many copies do you think? Let's say
Final Fantasy.
10 million sounds way too high. Let's say like 6 million.
They sold 3 million on their first week, but of course that probably
slowed down a lot. Let's say 6. I think 6 is good. So we'll just do another 6, so 6 times 70. So
okay, so like
we're at 6 million times 70. 120. Hold on. 6 million times 70. So 420 million. So now we're at like 1.5. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. Do you want to do Stellar Blade too?
Yeah.
Okay. I have no idea what that sold. Let's see.
Oh, hold on. How many did you think Final Fantasy cost to make? 200 mil? 150? 100 mil?
I think it would definitely be cheaper than Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh, someone says Final Fantasy 16 development budget was $59 million. Is this backed up by anything? Hold on. Japanese news sites with use of Google's auto translation.
I'll do 60 million.
Cost.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll 60 million.
I'm fine doing that. Okay. All right. And then what else we got here? Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. It says exceeded sales expectations, but I don't know what that means.
Stellar Blade, I'm gonna guess.
Stands to beat out the competition.
I'm gonna guess 8 billion copies.
I have no idea.
Stellar Blade total.
I know it sold 1 million in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, I
but
see that. All right. Well, we're just estimating here, so let's do 10. It sounds a bit high, but I don't know.
Okay.
Or so we're basically at like 2.1 billion.
Okay.
What's another?
All right. Keep going here. Well, Forspoken was last year, but we know that was a failure. Street Fighter 6.
No, that was all platforms.
Oh, that was all platforms. You're right. Sorry. Hold on. Any DLC or just main games? Because the Horizon DLC came out.
Yeah, but I mean, 1 million at most.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me look at my list from last year. Hold on.
Helldivers 2.
Okay.
That's gonna make them transactions, buying all that, because it is cheaper. It's like $40.
Yeah.
I'm gonna expect 30 million copies.
Okay.
And if I'm high with that, let's just make that be microtransactions or whatever. But let's just have that be.
And what was the price of that game? 40?
40.
40, okay.
So it's just do basically let's just do what, 40 times 30. $20 times 30 million copies. So that's 1 bill right there. So now we're at like 2. We're at like 2.6 billion. All right. Let's just say Sony made 3 billion in the last year, okay?
Okay.
And all game profits.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get a rough number because I'm trying to think if you have how many subs, right? So let's say you have 50 million subs. All I'm trying to get at.
Sure.
And they're paying $10 a piece. That's only gonna be 500 million that they're gonna make.
They're probably spending so much to
Is that enough?
keep it. Do you think Game Pass will be around in 5 years? Or is it uncertain? Because I feel like it's uncertain.
Yeah, if they only get 500 million, that's 10. Because I understand people, yes, I understand people pay more. I understand like there's only 15. So, but even if we raise that, just okay, it gave it 600 million in profit instead of 500 million, just because of other random whatever. Right. That's still not even like half of what Sony makes. So if that's the case, it don't really make much. Like their consoles aren't really selling much. Game Pass, does Game Pass keep them competitive with Sony? I guess not. But at the same time, what's going to happen this year with Sony? They don't have another first party till apparently next year. And the only deal they have this year is that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then the Stellar Blade, but we already counted that. But
Yeah,
What do you
I
think
don't
an
know.
average year for PlayStation looks like? I mean, do you think PlayStation's making 2.1
That much
billion each
money,
year?
man. If they have a game of the caliber of Spider-Man 2 every year in terms of selling power, then yeah, probably, I guess. What they have the year before? Spider-Man 2 was last year. What was a big exclusive that could sell tens of millions the year before that? Was God of War Ragnarok the year before that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. Right? That probably sold
It
over 10
sold,
mil, I would guess.
yeah, it sold like 12.
I guess as long as they have a big one in the chamber there, like Nintendo does, actually, Nintendo is a different beast. I mean, they do like 40, 50 million.
They're probably actually I think they said Nintendo profits 2023. Yeah, Nintendo's 2023 profit was 5 billion. So you know
Jesus.
how I like did some rough math there of like 2 point something for Sony. Nintendo is like 5.2 of that year. So
So crazy, man.
um Nintendo annual gross profit for 2023 was 6.5 billion, a 22% decline from 2022. So they actually expect more like in the realm of like Nintendo's annual gross profit for 2022 was 8.4 billion, which was a decline from 2021, which was even higher than that. So Nintendo, like on a good year, is hitting like 10 billion.
I mean, yeah, if they even get one of their crazy sellers, it's like that's it. That's all you need to do for the whole
So
year.
again, for Game Pass, if you're going to have, let's say 12's the average. Let's just throw it in the middle there, a little lower towards the bottom. Let's do 12. They would have to have, like, let's say they had 70 million subscribers. Even that doesn't hit a billion. That hits like 840 million. So, I mean, what are they okay with? That's the big question. I mean, we're not going to know that. I mean, obviously, they'd want as much money as possible, right? But what are they like? Because right now, they're only getting like 500 million through Game Pass a year at most.
Sure. Yeah, rough estimate.
And so they're not even close to the others. So I don't know. I'm just trying to get a more of like the money side of like, does it make sense for Microsoft to be doing Game Pass? And now that it's been going for a few years, we can actually see like how many people actually subbed and try to get a rough estimate here. It's not as much as I would assume. But okay.
It's interesting to think about it.
Yeah.
I just don't know
really
what's going to happen with them unless they really start sort of managing things in a better way. I don't know how
because
sustainable it'll be.
their consoles are going away.
Right.
But I think consoles are going away on entirety anyway. Yeah, not anytime soon, but like if I'm thinking 10 years from now, I am assuming that consoles aren't really a thing anymore, except for maybe Nintendo, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really see consoles sticking for too much longer. So like I get that side of things. Maybe they're not like too worried about console sales. There's services and all that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
This Call of Duty would basically have to like get them like 30 or 40 million subs for this to even really be a thing. And I don't know, I doubt they can do such a thing. But
Yeah.
if they don't do that and then they don't get the huge thing and they're still just at like the 30 they're at right now, again, there's I don't know. That's only you release 2 big games. See, well, here's the thing. Steam, right? All of these Microsoft games, they are releasing on Steam. And people are buying on Steam. Like, how
Yeah.
many millions you think? I know Starfield didn't like catch on, but what's a game that did catch on? I don't know. I mean,
You're saying from Xbox?
that's on Steam. Like, is
Oh,
Horizon on Steam? I don't even know.
Horizon is on Steam now. Yeah.
Can we even see sales like that? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
Horizon
We can just
5
see.
Steam sales.
We can just kind of see.
How can we see
how many concurrent users and stuff like that? I know usually when they.
Horizon 5 was 5 million units sold on Steam. Halo Master Chief Collection is sitting at like 7 million sold. So if you look at these numbers, these are hitting like, 400 million in profit, 600 million in profit, stuff like that. So if you have all these games selling on Steam as well as releasing on Game Pass and you're getting your sub money, then now you're making similar money with Sony. And maybe this is what it takes, right? So maybe Xbox, I guess that's why they're dedicated to Steam now. Because I just went and they have their own like Xbox Game Studio store up in Steam. And so I'm looking at all the recent here. So Minecraft Legends, that came out end of last year. Minecraft Legends. That sold 2 million copies. See what I mean? So like,
Okay.
if you sit there and think of all these games, there's quite a bit here because you have Hellblade 2 just dropped, the Forza Motorsport that just dropped. You have the Horizon 5 before that, the Minecraft Legends, the Pentiment, the Grounded. I guarantee you Grounded has a lot of sold on Steam. Grounded, 2 million units sold. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Halo Infinite, Age of Empires 4, Minecraft Dungeons, Psychonauts 2, Age of Empires 3, the Tell Me Why, the Battletoads, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Sea of Thieves. See, I know Sea of Thieves sells
Sure,
a
all
ton.
those sold decent amount. Like nothing. Some of them not that crazy, obviously, but some.
Well, what do you think? Not that crazy.
I think-
Battletoads would be the only one not that crazy because I think
Yeah, and like
rest would
Pentiment,
sell.
I don't think probably sold a ton. I would guess.
I'm gonna assume 1 million,
Okay.
which is great for a game like that.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
what
that
I'm
would
at.
be great.
Wow. Nope. Okay. Way less. So 200,000 sold.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be relative. I mean, listen, that game's excellent, but
Yeah.
I just don't think it had the appeal,
Mhm.
To your general person. But that's a shame because that game's awesome.
Anyway, so yeah, I guess because I was just like, there's no fucking way 500 million in a year. There's no way they can keep going afloat. But I guess as long as they sell their games on other platforms, you buy an Xbox or stay in their ecosystem on PC. So if you don't want to buy it, but a lot of people end up buying anyway, and as long as they just play both sides of the field there, they're gonna do well. I guess that's all
Right.
it is. Because now, with that being said, if you put them together, they're gonna have similar numbers. If you
Yeah.
look at all these
Yeah.
games here on Steam, plus what Game Pass brings in. Okay.
It'd be cool if we could just everyone could just be so transparent. Like we could have all this stuff 100%. Like movies,
Yeah.
there's no debate. We know exactly how much things cost. We know exactly how much they make. So.
Yeah. But getting Call of Duty, I mean, I guess I see why it's more like talk on like getting Call of Duty on Game Pass isn't going to make them tons of profits because even if that goes from 30 to 50 million users, it's still only like $10 per person, and at the end, it really doesn't come out to that much unless they get them on the Ultimate. But I don't know the split there, right? I mean, if it is the 15 million, at the end of the day, that's going to be a $15 instead of the 10, that is going to be a big difference between the two when it comes to counting hundreds of millions and stuff. So, but I don't
Sure.
know. Regardless, though, yeah, it's just interesting. All right, all right, but yes, yeah, I guess
It's an interesting thing to think about, but
I don't know.
ultimately, it's a lot of these are ballparks, estimations that we're making. So
Yeah, I just wanted to see just how, like, if they were screwed, how bad or whatever. And it was looking pretty dire until it hit me that wait, Steam.
yeah, of course that adds it, and that's why everyone should just put their games on Steam too. Come on.
Let me look at the latest Forza Motorsport, like not the Horizon 5, but the more serious one. I'm curious how that even does on Steam. It's not going to do as great because it's a simulation game.
Right.
So here's what's pretty interesting. So 203 units sold. That's not that high at all compared to the 2 million on the, well, it was 5 million on the other. But it's made 10 million in gross profit. I guess people maybe buying stuff in the game or just
Sure.
whatever.
Microtransactions and other
Anyway.
things.
But okay.
It'll be interesting to see how things pan out for Xbox. Obviously, they've got the most money in the world, so they really can just decide what they want to do, I guess.
Yeah, it can't really be like a Sega thing to where like, oh, they're just out now, right? Because they just have Microsoft and they just make too much money. But at the same token, Microsoft's gonna, higher ups are constantly gonna be like, well, why do we have this thing that isn't making that much? But the only reason I see them getting rid of it if it was like costing them, like if they were actually losing, and I don't think they're losing. So I guess they'll just continue to be fine. They just have to just keep trying to figure out whatever strategy works. But yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, we didn't know at the time to, where you had like Xbox first PS2, right? PS2 took the charge there.
Yep.
Mainly due to legacy because you have a new box, and then the 360 takes dominance in the US till like the very, very end.
Till the end, yeah.
But very competitive there. But then ever since, like, you had that weird stuff E3 thing, and a bunch of people bought PlayStation because of that. It was the cheaper box, and it was the more powerful box. So yeah, of course you're gonna go there, and then that just kind of killed it for them.
Right. That was such a great time though. I felt like both systems, I was getting so many good games from both. They were both making some good moves for a while there. So.
Well, because the digital market took over at that time, right? And so people don't want to buy these digital games and then move to another system again. They're not going to keep flip-flopping. You can flip-flop all you want if you have physical games.
Right,
but when you have a digital library, you're not going to want to flip.
Yep. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So
it's just really bad timing for that flip to take place, and
of course
they're pretty much done in the water there. All right.
Yep.
So Hunt Showdown's new gen console update arrives in August, rendering last gen versions unplayable. I thought this was pretty interesting. Crytek has announced the release date for Hunt Showdown's new gen update, which will also conclude the current gen, like we stated. This update was first announced last September and will essentially force last gen players to migrate to current consoles. In a developer update, General Manager David Fiffield announced the CryEngine 5.11 update will go live on August 15th. This update is treated as a significant relaunch that brings native PS5, Xbox Series X and S support along with a host of technical improvements. This means that these players must upgrade to the current console. Crytek assures these players that if they decide to upgrade, player accounts, entitlements, and all owned DLC will transfer to the new gen version at no extra cost. In addition to the technical improvements, the update includes a new map and biome. In the months leading to its launch, Crytek plans to address community and survey feedback. That includes improved reporting systems to address cheating and toxic player behavior, design reworks tackling hunter revival, health chunks, restorations, burning down hunters, and reducing stalemates. The game is also getting a new user interface, and Crytek will continue evolving the game's recruitment and prestige progression requirements. Hunt Showdown first launched for Xbox and PC in 2019, with the PS4 version arriving in 2020. The PvPvE first-person shooter is set in the 1865 Louisiana as players, either alone or with 2 or 3 friends, hunt supernatural bounties in the bayou while feeding off other player-controlled bounty hunters.
I mean, listen, I played this game for a little while with some friends, and I thought it was really fun, but man, was it hard to be good at it. Like, super challenging.
Yeah, it's a very well-made game. It's great and all that. It's just hard. It's pretty hardcore. Yeah.
Yep.
It's some like Pavlov stuff that I just like.
Seriously.
It's a little much for me.
Yep.
But speaking of which, I'm kind of curious. Like, I want to look up because I was looking at sales there. Hunt Showdown. Like, how does that and like how does this game even sell on Steam?
Yeah, I'm curious actually.
A lot. 5 million, 5.7 million.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah. So okay, cool.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up, we got the Elden Ring released a new story trailer for Shadow of the Erdtree. Do I know what's going on? No. Am I excited to play it? Yes. So,
yeah, it's hard to really say much on it, but it looks good.
It looks great, man. I really cannot wait. I can't wait for all of us to be playing Elden Ring again. It's gonna be a great time. So,
what was the date?
June 21st, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, take this next one.
Yep. Okay. New Astrobot game rumored to be announced in the next 2 weeks. Very cool. Details come from Dia Labs and reliable leaker Bill Kuhn, which says the developer Team Asobi will apparently reveal the next entry in its cutesy robot platformer series sometime in the next 15 days. Part of the unannounced title is said to take place in a desert area with a new character described as a fennec fox in the form of a robot. It shares some similarities with Astro. IGN understands the rumors to be accurate. The Dia Labs report adds that the title may simply be named Astrobot and expects it to be released exclusively for PS5 and not PSVR 2. Well, that is actually a good thing, I think. Asobi's next game has been rumored for some time, as in 2021, the studio published a job posting that teased its most ambitious game yet. The studio later doubled down on this, saying that its next project will be its biggest to date. Asobi cemented itself as a PlayStation studio in 2021. That's actually really cool. I mean, I
hope that happens.
I love the little tech demo on PS5. I thought it was really good and fun. So I want more from them, So
yeah, I played the VR game too, and it was great. But just a full-fledged Astrobot game, I would really want that, and I think it would sell. I think that'd be.
I think it would too.
A really awesome, like a great PlayStation mascot platformer.
Yep.
They need it, and I think it would do great.
I really hope that's a real thing, which sounds like it probably is. So,
Nintendo is opening a second official U.S. store in San Francisco next year. The location will be officially called Nintendo San Francisco, and according to the press release today, will provide a way for a wide range of visitors from near and far to experience the world of Nintendo, its products, and characters. Basically, a whole bunch of we know nothing other than they're opening a store in San Francisco. The first U.S. store is situated at a similarly busting location, Manhattan's historic Rockefeller Center. That store opened up in May 2005 as a 2-story, 10,000 square foot tourist hotspot for Nintendo fans, and now we're finally getting a second one. So,
yeah, the first store is awesome. Have you ever been to it before?
Yeah, I like it.
Man,
it's very
so
very cool. Yeah,
really love it. I think
it almost feels like a museum more than anything else.
It really does, and there's a lot of cool stuff to just look at in there. And like I remember every time I go there, I'll see like I
saw that Game Boy,
the Game Boy from like the war and everything. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah, no, that's actually really cool. Last time I went though, it was so packed that I couldn't even get in. I was like, I only had like an hour to spare. I was like, okay, I'll stop by real quick, but nope, didn't even work. There was way too many people in there. So yeah,
I only went once, and weirdly enough, I see myself going to California before I go to New York. So
Yeah.
I do want to
Yeah.
check this store out.
Very cool. All right.
The Giant Quest 3 HD 2D remake. We haven't heard anything in over a year, maybe even a year and a half, 2 years. But they just posted on their Twitter. So, the post is basically just saying, let's see, hold on, I forgot what it was. Is something just like a phrase. Let me click on it again. What was it? It was the Legend of Erdtree draws near, which that's the main character in 3. And then it's just a little GIF playing or whatever, and it just says the legacy begins. But what's important is this. So remember when we talked about Square Enix finally going and releasing multi-platform and not trying to do all these like exclusives with this and that and everything?
Right.
So, I mean, this game goes right in line with that. So, they're Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Steam, even Windows. So, everybody's getting their versions. Because usually something like this, you know, if this was 2 or 3 years ago, they'd probably drop on Switch. And then a year later, maybe on Steam, and that's about it. So, they just see this go everywhere. It starts to be like, well, I guess they were right on their last statement of they really are just trying to release everywhere. So I hope that is true, and this is the first taste of that we're seeing. But I am a big Dragon Quest fan, but I've never played any of the really old ones. The oldest one I played was it would be 5, in which came out on the Super Famicom. We never got it stateside until it hit DS. I never played any of the DS games, but I did play 5. I think it's the Heavenly Bride, because I played it. Well, that's what the movie's based on, which I love the movie. Still haven't seen it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's like probably my kid's favorite movie, to be honest. He loves it. And I think it's great. It's such a really, really good movie. I think your kids would eat it up too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Anyway, so I watched that. I've seen it so many times, so it gets me motivated to play the game, and which is really neat. Like, because I saw it first through that movie, and then being able to see everything more fleshed out with your relationship with like your pet or this like character you meet and all that, and but I'm playing it weirdly through, like, on my Steam Deck, there was a PS2 version. Like, there was a PS2 remake of this game, but it was only released in Japan. But somebody basically translated the PS2 game. And so I've basically been playing, like, the English translated ROM of that. And it's been really awesome. And it's a great game. And, that's the oldest I went back, and it wasn't until Dragon Quest 8 because it came with a demo of Final Fantasy 12, and that was my first actual taste of Dragon Quest. And I liked it. I was like, okay, it's okay, but I just cared about the 12 demo, and I didn't play too much of it. But I went back to it, after the fact, like years later, and absolutely love that game, and it's so special. It's like one of the first like just truly great like 3D JRPGs, and it's like one of the goats of the PS2 JRPG, which they have tons of options there. And 11 I adore, and then that's pretty much it for me. I mean, I played a lot of 9 on DS as well. That was like the multiplayer one with the online and stuff. I used to play that with friends, but there's not much of a story there. There is one, but it's way more about the multiplayer and all that, and the class customization and blah, 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 blah. But so it really only comes down to like 5 and 8 and 11 for me. That I like really love, really fallen into a ton. So I'm excited to like play another. And the thing with Dragon Quest 3 is it's too well known at this point. I mean, back in the day, I'd be spoiling it, but Dragon Quest 3 is like technically the first one, because you do like Dragon Quest 1, the Dragon Quest 2, and then 3 basically tells the tale of the original hero before even 1 takes place. That 1 and 2 reference is how it works. So 3 you play like it's technically the origin story of it all, of like the original hero. And
Gotcha.
if you play 11, there's a lot of like stuff that I don't want to mention, but I don't know. I'll kind of leave it there. I mean, you can kind of draw your own conclusions from that, but
Well, I've seen I remember you showed it to me a while ago, the like the images and little video, tiny bit of video that they had for the remakes. I was like,
Yeah.
man, this looks amazing. I don't know, have they come out with more footage since then? We have anything?
No, but we're about to. So the deal is apparently this is going to be shown this summer. And
Gotcha.
so, but apparently the release date is just around the corner. They're going to kind of announce it and drop soon after. Is if the rumors are to be true. And I believe it because they've been working on it for like 2 or 3 years. So, and I kind of want games to be that way. I don't want to keep getting updates along the way over the course of 2 or 3 years. I'd rather, even if you are announce it, shut up about it, and when it's close to release, then I want to hear about it again. But I hate getting like teased along for years.
Of course.
But I do think they're supposed to show it off here any second, and I want to say they were showing off in June here with like some of these showcases, like that Keeley Summer Showcase. I think is who's gonna have this. Yeah. Is what a lot of rumors were saying, but it's hard to know for sure. Either way, I believe we'll see it here real soon, and I am gonna play it because I've always wanted to play the origin of it all.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a blind spot for me. These games, I really have not played them for whatever reason. And then the most recent one that had come out, I was like, man, this looks cool, but it's gonna be so long, and I just never gotten around to them. So yeah, these remakes definitely have my interest.
Yeah, the good thing about this remake of 3 in this like Octopath, style here is what's cool is you can tell it's not just the Octopath engine. They're not doing more with it. Like they're actually like doing the more like Dragon Quest style with its battle, to where it actually is like first person with the monsters, but it's not quite third. It's not quite first. I don't know. It's like tilted or something. Whatever. But I think it looks fantastic, and it doesn't look like just a carbon copy of Octopath, but it's a Dragon Quest skin. Like, no, it is Dragon Quest 3,
right?
But it's just like that HD 2D style over the game. So,
yep.
I'm pretty hyped.
I'm excited. Even that little teaser was enough to get me in. So,
all right. Well, let's get into what we're watching, what we're playing.
All right. So, I'll mention quickly before we talk about Hellblade. I went back and played the Final Fantasy 16 DLC, the second one that had come out.
Yeah.
It was a little jarring going straight from Final Fantasy 7 to 16. Took me a good like half hour or so. But once I got back into it, I was like, okay, I remember. It's so interesting comparing these games because there's some things that I feel Final Fantasy 7 does way better. Exploration, customization, just the depth of it. But then there's other things I think 16 does better. I think the character acting, I like better in 16. And like, I even kind of like the story a little more, to be honest, in those two. But both of them, in my opinion, are really, really good games in their own right. And so when I went back to this, it's so cool because, it brings you back right before the end of the game, which of course I will not spoil, but you have your typical like, hey, go here to finish the game kind of thing, Yeah. And so it brings you right before that again. And you, the whole storyline is like, you're trying to go find Leviathan's icon and you gain it, which I think is so cool. It's like a whole new facet of the game that they add a lot in this DLC, and the story of it is, I'd say probably like 4 hours, but then there's a bunch of side missions you can do too. So I want to say that added a few more hours probably. But man,
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed it. And the last fight was tough. It was challenging, but it was really good. They even, I want to say, I didn't do this just because I was like, okay, I'm done with Final Fantasy 16. But they added a sort of like a, how do I describe this? It's almost like an arcade mode where you can go in, and I know arcade mode was already there, but it's almost like a challenge mode kind of thing. You know, fight these bosses, and then you can, as you go, it's almost like a roguelike thing. You can add these modifiers that, you know, you can permanently unlock or whatever. It's a cool little side mode. Not that long. I think it's like 20 levels of it, maybe. Maybe eventually I'll go back and check that out. But yeah, man, really, now that it's the whole package is done, yeah, I really think it's definitely worth playing Final Fantasy 16. And I feel that if you played Final Fantasy 16 and you did the 2 DLCs before the end of the game, it'd be even better now. So so yeah, definitely recommend going back to that if you dropped it. Now the other one is Hellblade 2, which I see we're both playing. So I looked it up out of curiosity how many chapters there were. There's 6 chapters. I'm on chapter 4. So I'm a decent ways into it, but I still have a little while left. But I got to say, as someone who's not a big fan of the first one, I like this one much more than the first one. I feel like the puzzles don't bother me nearly as much as they did in the first one. I feel like they're not as annoying, and they're also not as common to pop up everywhere. I think the combat is, again, simple, but again, it's not, I don't know, it's weird to describe. Like, it doesn't bug me. I like it more now. It's very simple, yes, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it. I think the visuals obviously look way better. Yeah, I really like it so far. I like the story even more than the first one too. I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of the first one. So how about you? What do you think so far?
But you're positive on this and you like it?
I mean, so far.
Yeah.
So far.
So. I'm asking this because this game is so divisive with so many people.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
It's very, very split. But I was telling Jesse, as you know, the resident Hellblade lover, before I played the game, I was like, I don't know, Jesse. Some of these reviews got me a little concerned. Whatever. He's like, all right, just give it a try. I'm like, all right, we'll see. And then I was surprised. I was planning on coming back to him and saying, yeah, this game sucks. I don't like this, but I don't know. I like it so far. Listen, is the game lacking severely in the gameplay avenue? Yes, 100%.
Well, if you like it, you're going to end up liking it because it only gets better as it goes. So keep that in mind.
Okay. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's going to play it. So I love the angle of the new enemy, let's say, that you're going after. I think that's really cool. Something about the first one, man, just didn't grab me as much. Now, I do want to go back and play the first one sometime and see if I have a better opinion of it. But those puzzles in the first one, I thought were absolutely horrible, and they messed up the pacing of the game horribly. I feel this game so far, there's been 1 or 2 times where I get like a little stuck for a minute. You figure it out, with those like bubble puzzles and stuff. But nothing that annoyed me. I never got annoyed. I never got frustrated. I thought they were totally fine, and they were, again, few and far between. It's not like an all-time thing, And I even like that there's some other characters who are a little more prominent in this one versus the first one, where it's like you by yourself the whole time. So yeah, I definitely like it so far. I'm looking forward to finishing it up. So
I was very curious on what your thoughts were going to be because, again, I keep seeing so many being like, this is trash to, oh my God, 10 out of 10. And I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, so myself, I don't know. It's almost like I need 2 different reviews. And we said this about other stuff too, of like, I wish reviews did this, of like, critic review aside, like, my entertainment value, like, was entertained, what I get out of it, did I enjoy all that? It's like a solid, like, 8.5 for me. It was really cool experience.
I actually totally agree with that. And again, I'm baffled because I thought I was gonna really not like this game.
Now, as a game, and I'm being a critic and all of that, that's the thing, is like, it would shoot way down. It's like hardly a game. It would be like 6.5, 7 at the most if I had to be critical and I had to really think of every aspect, and I'm grading like gameplay and I'm grading blah, 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 and I'm really trying to be critical. It'd be much lower because, like, I mean, this really is, I mean, it kind of plays itself.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it
that's
does.
what you got to know going into it. I mean, it's one of
Right.
those types of games. It's like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't want to
I
say
d-
it's full on like as Dust Falls or something. Like,
no, no,
yes,
no,
there's some combat, but it's not much.
no.
And
It's not much. There's some light, combat and puzzles. Um, but man, something about it. Like you're right. Like on paper, I'd be like, okay, this is like a 6, right? But when I play it, it's
it
just the
the
presentation
intensity
and
is great. Like the
yeah.
music, and I got my headphones like with the 3D
Yes,
audio,
I've been wearing the
and
headphones the
like,
whole time this time around. I
yeah.
was like, I'm gonna do this right. And I was laughing because when I was in one area, I was like, oh, Tim would. I wonder if Tim also experienced this when he was playing. So I'm in the fourth chapter when you're in the cave and you're like lighting the torches and stuff, and you're walking
Yeah.
through the water, right? And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, we both said when we played Scorn, we hear like that, and I feel like I was hearing that so many times when I was in that underground area. I'm like, this is Scorn, this is Scorn. And then I started thinking, I'm like, hold on a sec, this game is kind of like Scorn, honestly.
It is.
Right?
That's the pocket I would put it in. I'd put it in that, like, hey, it's more of an experience. It's not really meant to be like a hardcore game. Like, it's really more of like, let's take you along this journey. You can interact here and there with different things and whatever, and you have, but it's not, I don't know. Because even, let's say, okay, Death Stranding, that doesn't really fit in this box. Death Stranding actually has a ton of gameplay in it. But this is more of just one of those, I don't know, like, not like you're playing the quarry because you have a lot of decisions and stuff, but you know what I mean? It's just, it's kind of its own thing to where it's like, don't expect much gameplay out of this. Don't expect like hardcore puzzles like we were playing with Cocoon and all that. They're pretty like, not like they're super simple. You may be stumped a little here and there on trying to get whatever symbol activated, but there really isn't much to it. It's no big brain energy here. And then the gameplay, you know what the gameplay is like? It's like, you remember that game Infinity Blade?
I do remember that game.
Back on like smartphones, it was like, oh my god, it looks like an Xbox 360 game or something, but on my phone. But all you really did is just kind of like block, roll, or parry, and that's pretty much what this game is. It's like one-on-one enemies, and you're playing Infinity Blade with them, and you move on to the next once you defeat that one, and then you'll fight like 4 or 5 of them, and then it'll go back to like walking around again. But I must say, like, my heart was pounding when I'm in a battle and I'm fighting this like really tough dude or whatever, and it's like, maybe the king of the squad or something, and definitely like died a few times, and it was like pretty intense, and it's really enjoyable. It's just hard to really like recommend it as a video game experience in the traditional sense. It's very much like, I wouldn't say it would work better as a movie, because you do need to have those moments in the gameplay that, where you're like, even just when you're wandering around trying to figure out what to do in a puzzle, like, and being able to experience the environment and look around and all that, like, it works better as a game. I'm not in the camp of like, this should just be a movie, because no, it would take a lot of the experience out of it. I think that this is just up that alley with like Gone Home or something, where it's just like, but there's some combat sections that are actually really intense and really cool. But
right.
It's I don't know, but it's not much of a game. I love it. It's like,
I really do like it.
8.5 if we're not being critical, maybe even a 9, and I mean, yes, the visuals are insane, and yes, it's such a short game, and there's not really much to it, so of course they make the visuals as good as it is. I don't think that's why the visuals are as good as it is, because any game, I mean, how many games do you really interact with the world more than you do in Hellblade? You really don't. Like, most games interact on that same level. I think games can hit this graphic fidelity. It just takes time more than anything. Yeah, this game's shorter, so they can release it in maybe a shorter window than what it take of a game that's 40 or 50 hours long and having to keep this up. Sure, I get that side of it, but it doesn't feel impossible, and it doesn't feel it's only good because it's a walking simulator or something. Like, I wouldn't say that, but
No, I wouldn't say that. I think it's just above that in terms of what kind of game it is. It's definitely very unique, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's not as passive as, like, I don't know, that Ethan Carter game or whatever, right? It's like it's not quite there, but it's pretty passive. I mean, most of the game you are just walking and, like, whatever plot story, mind tricks, whatever, is just kind of unfolding around you as you just experience it. But looks and sounds amazing, and it's a really, really neat experience. I do like it. But I can totally get, like, the hate on it, and if somebody was like, yeah, no, I'm good, and then, like, threw a 6 at it, it's not like it wouldn't deserve it, like, because it really just comes down to what do you want out of it, and it's very opinionated, so I totally understand why the scores are all over the place.
Yep. I this is a game in which I totally understand how it's all like such a wide.
It's like Scorn. I think it. Yeah. Right. I think Scorn's a good. I'm gonna fit it in.
I'm definitely gonna finish it over the next day.
Now the combat is definitely better in this than Scorn's combat. I'll give it that. Scorn's combat's so weird.
Yeah, Scorn's combat is freaking.
I do like the combat.
There's a stupid gun that shoots out the little freaking thing. All right.
I played and beat it, and then I was just looking to see if there was anything else on Game Pass before I move along, and I came across this Hauntii game, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of neat. I pull up, like, reviews, and what's funny is, like, it's not like I was finding, like, good or bad reviews. What I kept running into was, like, apparently this is very controversial game, and there's a lot of, like, big religious people talking on it or something like that, and there's a big feud because of this. I don't even know. I mean, it's definitely making the game really popular, but there's a lot of huge religious organizations, like, really trying to shut this game down. And then there's even, like, I'm going through leaving, like, Steam reviews, and they're going into all of this, and even reviews of, like, I'm a Christian and I don't even get why this game's so, like, bad. It's totally fine. I've played way worse. Blah blah blah. I don't know, but anyway, it's getting great reviews though in general. But I thought it was funny. It was also going into that camp of things, and gotcha. But the art style, wow, I have not seen anything like this, and it transforms so quickly into just, I don't know. It's like especially that first hour or two,
really cool.
I felt like I had no idea what was going on, but I loved every second of it. It's just like awesome. What was presenting at me.
Wow.
And very I just cool. Like fell in love. I played like 3 hours of it last night, and I was like, this game is incredible. And I really want to, like, get anybody to try this out. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. This looks really cool. It's got very positive reviews too.
Yeah. And I guess the puzzles to the game of just how you can get from point A to point B is really creative, and, like, how you go about traversing. And it's too hard to try to explain it, but you can basically, like, possess an object, and then depending on what the object is, depending on what you can do with it. So let's say it's a tree, you can, like, possess a tree, and, like, go up to the very top of it, and then, like, use that to, like, let's say you can possess a bug on a tree, for example. Use the bug to climb up to the top of the tree, and then jump off with the bug, and then get to a really far away spot because it can kind of parachute off. Right, is like a thing. Or you need to use it to sort of like, maybe like a puzzle so you can get to a next area, and you may have to like mess around with some light poles and try to change the height of them or something like that.
Gotcha.
But you can also possess like other enemies in the level as well, and you just straight up get to play as them. So like, okay, it's some octopus dude. Now I'm the octopus dude, and now I can just traverse through the level, shooting ink everywhere and having fun, like controlling this big monster. And then there's like all these different types of things. It's really fun. It looks incredible. I'm just like, dude, this game is so good, and there's nothing like it. I thought, like, by screenshots, I was like, okay, it kind of looks a little, I don't know, Undertale or something. No, this game, graphics and visuals are insanely good. I'm really, in action, it looks far better than it does in video. I was super impressed. I don't know who did the art for this, but I definitely want to see what else they do now. But
I think cool.
I was really blown away. I was quite surprised. But Leon. Leon. Alright, whatever. Alright. Last Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. I got this. I was playing Hellblade 2, and then I was playing this Hauntii, so I've only played this Paper Mario for about, let's say, 2 hours. Maybe 3 tops. And I've never played this game before. Now, what I've played so far, I have played through this bit, so I really know what else to say. Other than, like, it is quite an improvement, though. I have played the GameCube version a few numbers of times trying to get into it through, like, emulation. And so I can even make it look even better than what it put on GameCube. Mm-hmm. But it looks fantastic here. This is the best it's ever looked, and what any emulation could do outside of some real, like, hardcore custom textures or something like that. Leon!
Yes, I'm coming.
But, and there's just a ton of just, like, tiny improvements and enhancements, because these first few hours I'm pretty familiar with the game, but I've never played it past it, like I said. But I'm noticing so many, like, small differences and changes and upgrades, and I can tell they really just, like, try not to change anything that was good and only try to improve it. And I don't know, I'm very confident that I'm gonna walk away from this game just absolutely loving it. It's one of my favorites. I'm really into it.
It's so good, man. You're gonna love it. I'm definitely gonna get to it as soon as I finish up these few games, but I remember just loving that game so much. And let me know when you get to like
the writing's so good, and it's actually funny, and I don't know.
Oh my god.
Here. Put on these headphones and look, we don't have a lot of time. Just 5 minutes. Give us your spiel, and we're gonna end this episode.
So,
talking to the mic.
What I love about Paper Mario, this Paper Mario, is that unlike in the other ones past the Wii, you really like the combat was too easy. I played a little bit of it, and the combat was too easy, and it was just boring overall whenever you played it. But whenever this one, I don't think the other ones, actually it did. Sorry, I was thinking that the other ones didn't have, like, these morphs, which is where you can basically turn into, like, a paper airplane and just fly down to wherever you want. And what the objective is of the game is to find this treasure, this hidden treasure that's underground, and you get this magical map that's sent by Princess Peach. Later on in the game, she gets kidnapped like she always does.
Of course.
But it wasn't Bowser. That's it
It's
wasn't
been so
Bowser
long, I
though.
don't remember.
I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah,
who
don't
it
spoil.
was.
That's okay.
But what was I talking about? Oh, with the objective of the game. Yeah, so you're trying to find this hidden treasure, and there's crystal stars that you go around the map. And before every single crystal, the magical map shows you where the crystal stars are. After you go to Rogueport, which is where is a new city that that they built like today, because the hidden treasure used to be like a whole entire city that had like a little magical door. Anyways, the magical map leads you to the crystal stars. Um,
I think I remember that now.
and you have to go to different areas, and you have to fight bosses. There's new like enemies and stuff in every single like town that you go to get the crystal stars. And unlike some of the other Paper Mario games, instead of just going straight into it, where it's kind of like you don't really have any other objectives what you have to do to build up to that, you just go straight to it, and boom.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
in this game, you actually have to do other stuff, and it gives you more stuff, which is just more content. It's fun.
I can't wait to play it. It's been years. I played the original only.
And yeah, it's just fun, more fun. I don't want to
Alright, so you're
spoil
enjoying it?
anything, but if
Yeah.
I could say anything about it, there would be way more I would say.
All right, great. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm gonna pick it up soon, so I'll have some more to say about it when I get there.
But right now, I got the first crystal star, and I headed back to the magical door, and then it shows you where the next star is. So
Okay.
I'm already done with the first star, and I'm trying to find out where the second star is.
What do you think about the combat?
Very cool.
So
How do you like that? Yeah.
my dad just asked me how I like the combat.
What do you think about
I
it?
didn't really play like too much of the other Paper Mario games, so I don't know what's really different about the combat, but it's definitely than the other Mario game, just harder. And I said that earlier, Dad.
Okay. Yeah. I remember liking the combat in that game a lot, so.
And I don't know if I just didn't play enough of the other games, but I'm pretty sure you don't really get that many partners during the other Mario games, like past the Wii. But now there's a remake. You get tons and tons of partners. I've only got the first crystal star, and I already have 2
Oh,
partners.
nice.
Well, you get the second partner before you even finish the first crystal star. So
I know that I know that some of the later ones, what I don't like is they don't do that where you get like all the partners and stuff. That's why I like that one, the one that you're playing.
Yeah. It's just a better Paper Mario. I think from all the other Paper Marios I've played, I think it's just the best.
Okay, very cool. Glad you're enjoying it. I'm gonna get it soon, so.
I do kind of want to play the original though.
The original's good. It's a good game. It's fun.
I haven't played the original, but
Yeah, you would like
that's
it.
all I have to say about this game.
All right, thanks, Leon. See you next time.
One to 10. What are you throwing on it?
1 to 10?
Yep. I've just,
Like,
what?
are you talking about like all the games I played, or
No.
just the Paper Mario series?
Thousand Year Door. I'm just saying 1 to 10.
Like, how fun is it, basically?
Yep. Or how much you like it on a scale of 1 to 10.
I guess 8.7. I don't.
Okay.
Or
There you go.
9, 8.7 or 9. I don't.
All right. What's a 10? What's a 10 in your book? Fortnite?
No!
I'm joking.
Bro, I've gotten so tired of that game.
What's a 10?
10's probably like the most fun I've had in a game.
Which is?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that I've had very much fun in.
Okay, different experiences. All right. We're in it. All right. Do game watch and we'll get out of here. All right. Astro, Blade of the Monolith, PlayStation 5, Xbox, all platforms, May 30th. Humanity, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, May 30th. Humanity, actually, this looks really cool.
I've seen it. Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah, I want to play that. I think that is Game Pass. So in 2 days, I might jump on that. It's like Lemmings but with humans or something. It looks weird. F1 24, all platforms but Switch, May 31st. Hypercharge Unboxed, Xbox, May 31st. Destiny 2, The Final Shape, all platforms but Switch, June 4th. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, all platforms but Switch, June 4th. Star Wars Hunters, Switch, iOS, Android, June 4th. And that will do her.
All right. Well, listen, next time we can talk about Hellblade 2 in a little more detail, I'd say. So.
Yep. And next time we will, I guess, get into the ending of Prophecy 7.
Yes. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Later.
See ya.